By the end of this video, you'll be able to play that too. Because what I just played wasn't magic. It's actually built on 8 fingerstyle guitar techniques that turn your instrument into an entire band. I'll give you all 8 of them and then we will put it together to build that exact song. The first fingerstyle guitar technique is going to be the steady thumb. So your thumb's first job is to be the bass player by laying down a solid rhythmic pulse on the 3 thickest strings of your guitar. So let's give it a try. You're going to mute all the strings except the low E string with your fretting hand, so it sounds like this. And then you're going to play 4 steady beats with just your thumb like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's add in our drummer. The second fingerstyle guitar technique is going to be the thumb slap. You're going to take the bony part of your thumb and then you're going to slap it against the low E string like this. Use your wrist for this and don't slap too hard. Now let's combine the two. So you're going to do thumb, slap. Like that. Now that our groove is locked in, let's bring in the rest of the band, the lead and the rhythm guitarists. And this brings me to my third fingerstyle guitar technique, assigning your fingers. Because in order to play your riff smoothly, each finger needs a certain job. And the rules to this are simple. So your thumb is assigned to the low E string, A string and D string. Your index finger is assigned to the G string, middle finger goes to the B string, and your ring finger is assigned to the high E string. This builds muscle memory and control, so you don't even have to think of it when you're playing a high riff. So let's play our first finger picking pattern. So you're gonna hold a C major chord, and then we're gonna play thumb on A string, G string index, B string middle, high E string ring. So it's gonna be like that. But our band is not complete yet. Let's bring in the singer. And a great singer doesn't sing every melody with exactly the same volume. When they're singing, they emphasize certain melody notes, and that's exactly what we're gonna do in our fourth technique, emphasis. So we're gonna lay down a C major again and play the exact same pattern, but this time we're going to put an emphasis on the high E string like this. So instead of this, we're gonna do this. You hear the difference? Okay, but let's be honest, we want a good band, right? So in order to do that, we need to make the melodies flow even better. And for that, we need to move beyond just playing some notes with our strumming hand. No, we need to use our fretting hand as well. And this brings me to my fifth and my sixth technique that unlock this, hammer-ons and pull-offs. And these really are the secret to that liquid, smooth sound you want on your guitar. So let's start with the hammer-on. And this technique is so interesting to me because you pluck the string only once, but you hear 2 notes. So for this technique, I need you to think of your fretting finger as a small hammer. Because your job here is to strike with enough speed and precision to let the second note ring out clearly after you've plucked the first one. My number 1 tip to a successful hammer-on is to hammer on right in front of the fret of the new note that you're playing. So exercise number 1, play the second fret of the A string and then hammer on to the 3rd fret. And then the second exercise is to play it from an open string. So you're gonna do open A, and then hammer on with your index finger or middle finger in front of the fret of the new note. The third step is to add a chord. We're gonna bring back the C major except for the index finger, so it's gonna hover above the first fret of the B string, but you're not gonna press the fret. And then we're gonna play the following pattern. So we're gonna do A string thumb, D string thumb, G string index, B string middle, and then it's just these 4 notes. And then while that B string is still resonating, you're going to hammer on with your index finger on the first fret of that string. So now it becomes this. So now for technique number 6, the partner in crime of the hammer-on, the pull-off. The pull-off is actually kind of the same as a hammer-on, so it gives you 2 notes while picking the string only once. But the core difference between these 2 techniques is that a pull-off goes from a higher note to a lower note and the hammer-on goes from low to high. Now be careful because the name pull-off can be a little bit misleading. The biggest mistake that I see people make when they practice the pull-off is to simply lift their finger up. You actually have to pull the string downwards. So let's start with the 3rd fret of the A string. I'm pulling downwards, so I'm replicating this motion over here. You can practice that by literally putting your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, play that string, and then replicating the movement. So let's practice this with the C major chord. So this time you're going to lay down all the fingers of the chord. And then you're going to play A, G, B, and then do a pull off. So okay, so for technique number 7, to turn your guitar into a full band, I'm going to teach you how to do an arpeggio. To understand the difference between plucking strings and an arpeggio, I want to give you the metaphor of walking a staircase and a waterfall. Because walking up a staircase goes one step at a time, but a waterfall is one continuous, beautiful flow. And this also applies to the way you play notes, because instead of playing them separately like this, you can also connect them to one another by playing arpeggios. So for your first arpeggio, you're going to play A string, G string, B string, high E, like we just did actually in all the other patterns, But this time we're going to add 2 notes to the equation. So after this pattern, we're going to play B string and G string. So the whole pattern is 6 notes instead of 4. So it's going to be again. Let's add some chords. So we're going to do A minor and the same pattern. Now we're going to go to C major and play the exact same pattern. So A, G, B, E, B, G. Now let's add in our third chord, the G major. And for this one, we're going to change the arpeggio just a little bit. So we're going to do E, G, B, E, B, G. So instead of starting on A string, we're going to start on the low E string. Now it's time for our 8th and final technique, assembling the band. So for this one, we're going to put everything together we've learned to teach you the riff I played at the beginning of the video. So we're going to start with A minor, then go to G major, and then go to C major like this. Now let's add in the arpeggio. So we're going to do A minor, A string, G string, B, high E, emphasis on E, and then finish it like that. Then we're going to do G major and start on the low E, emphasis on high E, and go back like that. And for the C major chord, we're going to do something different and special because we're going to change the timing a little bit. So we're going to do C major, except for the index finger, play A string, G string, B string, hammer on. Then we're going to leave a little break, so it's going to be like that. And then we're going to do E, B, pull off. So it's going to be, so it's bum 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 bum. So it's going to be different than the, and you play the pattern on the C chord 2 times. So in total it's going to be this. Once you got that down, then you can add the thumb slap. And the thumb slap comes after that high emphasized E string. So it's going to be A minor with the thumb slap. And then G major with the thumb slap. And for the C major, your thumb slap comes after the first hammer on. And then your index finger is still there on the 1st fret. And we're going to play the B string and do a pull off like that. So here.